Hey everyone, how are you? In this video, we are going to solve the Leetcode problem of the day, and the problem is power grid maintenance. In this problem, we are given three inputs. The first is C, which is an integer which represents the number of power stations we have. So when it is 5, we have 5 different power stations, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 and 4, right? Connections represents a mapping between different power stations and their connectivity. So when we have connections as 1, 2, it means the power stations 1 and 2 are connected with each other. When it is 2, 3, it means 2 and 3 are connected. 3, 4 means 3 and 4 are connected, and 4, 5 means 4 and 5 are connected. Now when we see this particular connectivity map, we can see that all are connected with each other, right? When we see this kind of connection, we say that this is a power grid. We got one power grid in which all these 5 power stations are connected with each other. Now let us say this 3, 4 is not there in the input. So this particular connection will be deleted, right? Let me actually remove it. In this case, you can see that after creating the power station mapping, we have two different power grids. The first grid is having 3 power stations, 1, 2 and 3. The second grid is having 2 power stations, 4 and 5. So it's not important that your all power stations will be connected with each other. For this particular input, it is connected, that is all the power stations are connected with each other, right? We have a 3, 4, so all are connected. But maybe for some other inputs, the connectivity is different and we have 2 different or 3 different power grids, right? Now, talking about the queries, here is what you have to do the processing. For every query, you will have to perform some operation. Now, your query, every query will have two elements. It will be 1, x or 2, x. The first element will always be 1 or 2, 1, 2, 1, right? And the second element will actually be a power station ID. We have 5 power stations, so the second element can be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Now try to understand about this. When you have 1, what you need to do, and when you have a 2, what you need to do in your query. First of all, you have to assume, and you have to know, it's not an assumption, it is a fact that all the power stations are operational, all are working, all are fine initially. Now when you get this kind of query 2, 1, it means this 2 represents that whatever power station ID is given, now this particular power station ID is not operational. When you say 2, 1, it is not operational. The power grid is still there, all are connected with each other, but this particular power station is not operational, it is not working as of now. That is what you need to assume. So when it is 2, x, whatever is the x here, 2, 1 or 2, 2, you have to assume that that particular power station is not operational as of now. Now there can be another query which is 1, x, which is 1, 3 or 1, 1 or 1, 2, right? You have 1, 2, 3 different query in which the first element is 1. You basically need to create an output as a list in which you will have 3 elements, because you got 3 query in which the first element is actually a 1. So basically for every query where the first element is 1, you have to find an output, and that output is, let's actually understand it from the question itself. When the query is 1, x, you will have to have a maintenance check. You have to do a maintenance for the requested power station x. Now if the power station x, whatever is the power station ID given, if that is online or that is operational, then it resolves the check by itself. It means if the query is 1, 3, and if this 3, the power station 3 is operational, if it is working fine, then in that case the output for this 1, 3 query will be 3 itself, right? So when we say 1, 3, 3 will be the output. Now we got a 2, 1, it means the power grid 1 is not operational, right? Let me actually mark this as not operational. Let me cross this, right? Now when the power grid 1 is not operational and the next query is 1, x again, and in this case x is 1. So again you will say that okay, you have to find the output for 1. You have to do the maintenance check for the power station 1. You got to see that it is not active. So in this case, for this particular query, the output is not going to be 1. It is 2. I will tell you how it is 2. You have to read through again. But if the station is offline, or you can say the station is not working or not operational, then in that case you have to check, like the check is resolved by the operational station with the smallest ID in the same power grid. If there are no operational station, then you have to return -1. It means that you have to find out what's the smallest power ID station in this grid where 1 belongs, because the query is 1, 1. So you have to work on this power station 1. It is not active. So you have to find out what's the smallest ID which is active in that power grid. This 1 belongs to this particular grid, right? In this particular grid, the smallest ID which is active, the smallest power station which is active or operational is 2. So for this particular query, the output is 2, right? Now we have 2, 2. It means you have to say that this 2 is not operational now. So let me mark this as not operational. 2 is not operational, right? when 1 and 2 both are not operational and the next query is 1 comma 2, then in that case you have to find out what's the power state. Like you have to first do the maintenance check for 2, right? That's what you need to do. And the query is 1, then you need to find out the output. So for 2, is 2 active? No, it is not. So what's the smallest ID in this power grid which is active? It is actually 3, right? 1 and 2 both are not active, 3 is active. So again the output is 3 for this particular query. Now assume that if none of them were operational, if all are non-operational in this particular grid, then for this particular query the output is not going to be 3 but it is going to be -1, right? That's what the question says. All right, so now we are clear with the question, right? Now first of all what I want to do is understand the query, right? If the query is 1 comma 3, we have to check that is this operational or not. So somewhere we have to store the list or the set of all those power stations which are operational as of now. Initially all are operational, right? So initially we will mark all these 5 power stations as operational. Okay, so anytime if the query comes and if our power station is operational, we will directly have this as the output. But the problem will come when the power station is not operational, when the power station is not in your set. In that case, we actually need to find out which particular power grid my power station belongs to, right? Which particular power station, which particular power grid my 3 belongs to, or my 1 belongs to, or my whatever is my queried power station, where it belongs. We have to create the mapping of all these data, because we cannot just brute force our solution. For every query we cannot just run through all our entire data, so we have to store some kind of mapping. Now try to understand about this. When you have a power grid and if I ask you, hey, tell me which particular power grid 2 belongs, let's say that I remove this, right? Which particular power grid 2 belongs to, so you will say that this is my power grid. Which particular power grid 4 belongs to, so you will say this is the power grid, right? But what are you representing your power grid with? What I will do is I'll actually create a leader in every power grid. In this power grid, let's say that 1 is the leader. In this particular power grid, let's say that 4 is the leader, right? So how this is going to benefit is when somebody will ask, hey, what's the power grid 2 belongs to? So you will say the power grid in which 1 is the leader, this particular power grid. Or what's the power grid 5 belongs to? The power grid in which 4 is the leader, right? So we will have to choose a leader in our power grid. For all these things, we have to have a lot of different data structures and everything. We are going to do everything in one by one, like step by step, okay? First of all, let me scroll it a bit and zoom our solution. First of all, I'm going to store my data in something called as adjacency list, right? So I will actually create a default dictionary and every element in my dictionary will be a list. Now let's run through our connections for u comma v for both our nodes or both our power stations. In the connections list or array, data of u dot append v and data of v, I would say, dot append u. Now what this is going to do is, let me actually print this. It is actually very helpful to just print your solution time to time to see that what is the steps we are performing. So for this particular for this particular input, what we have actually created is we have created a map that when we say 1, 1 is directly connected to 2, 2 is directly connected to 1 and 3, 3 is directly connected to 4, apart from 4 it should be 2 as well. So 2 and 4, 4 is directly connected with 3, okay, let me scroll, 3 and 5 is directly connected with 4. So we are creating the direct connections of our nodes. Now once this connection is created, let me remove this print statement as of now. We will create a data structure in which we are going to store our leaders. So let me store our leaders in something called as a default dictionary, okay? And every element in my default dictionary is going to be an integer. What we are actually going to do is for every element 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, we are actually going to store their leaders. For 1, the leader will be 1. For 2, the leader will be 1. For 3, the leader will be 1. For 4, the leader will be 1. And for 5, the leader will be 1. For all these elements, there is a single leader. It means all these elements belong to the same grid. We definitely need to know that which grid my particular element belongs to, right? So I'll have this leaders, right? Also, what's the way to update our leaders is we will run through our data. We will run through our entire data. And what's the data we have? We have total 5 data, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? So let's actually run a loop for I would say for node, whatever the power station ID for node in range of 1 to c plus 1, because the node ID or the power station ID starts with 1, right? And c is the number of power stations we have. All right, now in this we will actually go through our elements one by one. So what I want to do is I want to say that, okay, my first element is 1. Let me update my 1. Let me update my leaders for 1. So for 1, the leader will be 1 itself, right? For sure. Now we will check using the the data mapping which we have created. We will check that since we have a 1 whose leader is 1 itself, now 1 is directly connected to 2, so it means the leader of 2 will be 1 as well, right? 2 is directly connected to 1 and 3. We have already processed 1. We will process 3. So the leader of 3 will be 1. 3 is directly connected to 2 and 4. 2 is already processed. 4th leader will be 1, and 4 is directly connected with, I think, 3 and 5. 3 is processed. The leader of 5 will be 1, and 5 is directly connected to 4. 4 is already processed, right? So what we actually need is we need a set where we will store our visited data. So let's create a set visited is equal to a set, right? Now let's create a queue. Queue will be a DQ. We will use this queue to push our elements, and we will only process elements if they are not already processed, right? So we will say that if the current node is in visited, if it is already visited, then we will continue. We will not process for this particular node because this is already processed, right? If it is not processed, we will proceed ahead and we will say visited dot add. Let's add our node in our visited set. We have visited this, right? Now, once we have visited our node, what we have to do is we have to say that for this particular node, try to see this. For 1, we are starting with 1. For 1, the leader will be 1 itself, right? So the leader of 1 is 1. So we can say we will actually update our leaders. So we can say leaders of node is equal to the node itself, right? Now, once we have stored this data, we will store all those elements which are directly connected with node in the queue, and we will process this queue, right? Because if we are just storing it for 1, then 1 is directly connected to 2, right? We will store this 2 in a queue and process this queue for all the elements which are directly connected with 1, right? With 1, we have 2, 3, 4, and 5. All are connected, right? 2 is directly connected, but other elements are connected as well. They are in the same grid. All these elements will have a single parent or single leader who is 1 itself, right? So our current element node will be the leader of all those elements which are belonging to the same grid of 1. So we are going to make use of queue, and I would actually run a loop. I would say for n in data of node for all those nodes which are connected with data of node, because what we will get from data of node is data of node will give me 2. So we will actually push this 2 in the queue. So we can say queue dot append n, right? Now let's start processing our queue. We can simply say that while we have some element in the queue, or while queue, we will pop out the element from the queue. So let's actually store our popped out element in a temporary variable queue dot pop left, right? Now the leader of temp, this particular element will be node, right? Our current value node. So the leader of 2 will be 1. Once we have processed 2, we don't need to reprocess this 2 again, right? Because this already has a leader. The moment it is assigned with a leader, we will say that visited dot add temp. We have visited this as well, okay? Once it is done, we will also add the elements which belongs to 2 or which are directly connected with 2. So directly connected with 2 are 1 and 3. We will add 1 and 3 back in the queue. But since 1 is already processed, we will not add this. We will only add 3, right? Try to see that how I am solving this step by step, okay? So now for n in data of temp, right? What we are going to do is we are going to say if n is not in visited. If n is not in visited, then in that case we will say q dot append n, right? And once you have appended this, you will also say that visited dot add n, right? We have visited this, right? Because once you have added this to a queue, you have visited this as well, because later on it will be processed by the queue. I think we can actually skip this part. Let me actually comment this out. If it will be required, then we will add it, otherwise not, because we have added this to queue, and once this will be processed by the queue, it will be added to the visited set. So I don't think this is required. We just need to add the neighbors of our temp to the queue so that it is processed. Now what this will do is this will actually create a leaders map for every element 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There will be a single leader which will be 1 itself. All right. Now once the leaders are created, what we can actually do is we can actually store our data in a single leader in a heap for a single power grid, right? This is a single power grid. We will store this data in a heap. Why we are storing this data in a heap is that's what the question says. The question says that if you are querying for a particular element and that particular element is not active, if it is not active, then you will have to find the next element which is smallest in that particular grid. So a heap is the best data structure to implement this kind of requirement, right? So now that we have created our, I would say the leaders mapping, we have this leaders updated, right? We actually need to create a heap. So let me create a heap data structure, and for this I will say heaps. Not a single heap will be used for every different leaders. Entire different heap will be there. For what I want to say is, if this is our grid, right, then it is just a single grid. Then we can have a heap in which our elements will be from this particular heap 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Now let us say we have two different heap. Not heap. Let's say we have two different leaders. We have a leader 1 of 3 elements 1, 2, 3. We have a leader 4 of 2 elements 4 and 5. In this case, we will create two heaps. 1, 2, 3 will be different. 2, 4, and 5 will be different, because let us say we are making a query for 1, right? And 1 is not operational, 2 is not operational, 3 is not operational. So for 1, we will return -1, right? We are not going to go with 4 and 5, right? So that is why we need to create multiple heaps. So I would say heaps will be equal to a default dictionary again, and every element will be a list, because we are going to make a use of a heap. That is actually a list. We are going to make use of a heapq module for this to implement it, right? Now let's go through our elements again. I would say for q comma v in connections again, I would say heap q dot heap push. We need to push our element to the heap. For every element, for u and for v, we just need to find out who its leader is. So I can say leaders of u, whoever is its leader, we can say heaps of that particular element, right, will be pushed with the element u, and same with v, right. Now you need to understand what's happening here. Let me actually print this. Let me print heaps, right. Apart from heap, let me print the leaders as well, right. If I print this, try to understand what's happening. Run this for now. Let's wait for the output. Yeah. So this is our leaders, right? We have one whose leader is 1, the leader of 2 is 1, the leader of 3 is 1, the leader of 4 and 5 is 1. All of them have a same leader. So now you can see what we are actually doing is we are having a default dictionary in which we have the leader 1, and it's the heap of the leader. In the leaders heap, we have 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, right? It is multiple time because we are pushing it for u and v both, but it won't affect our solution, right? But let's say there are two grids, then there will be two elements. Apart from one, there will be one more element which will have its own different grid, right? Not grid, but I would say heap, right? Now once the heap is created, now we can start making a query. So we can say result is equal to an empty list as of now, and now let's say for operation comma node in the queries, right, the operation can be 1 or 2. So we can say if the operation is equal to 2, right, if op equal to 2. Now try to understand what we need to do. We should have a set, we should have a store somewhere that what are the current operational nodes. If you notice this visited set, this visited set will actually, as of now, at this point of the code, will contain all the nodes. Initially, all the nodes are operational. So let's make use of this visited set. We can say that if the operation is 2, then our node will be removed from the visited set. So we can say visited dot remove node. It means the node is not operational now. Else, if the operation is 1, we can first of all check if the node, the current queried node is already in visited. If it is in visited, it means it is operational. If it is operational, so we can say result dot append the node, right? Once you append it, you can just continue, right? You don't need to do any further processing. But if your current node is not in visited, it means it is not operational. So you will have to find out the smallest node which is operational in the same grid, right? Now, if you want to do this, if you want to achieve this, you'll have to go through the heap, right? So I can say while heaps, we need to find out the heap from the heaps. We have this heaps, right? In this heaps, the heap to which your current node belongs to will be in the leaders, right? So I can say leaders, who is the leader of my current node, whoever is the leader of my current node, I need to access that particular heap, right? So this particular value will be 1 for whatever node you will be accessing for, because all your nodes have the same leader who is 1, and the heap of 1 is this one, right? This is the heap of 1. Now once you access the heap of 1 or heap of your leader, you can say the top element will actually be equal to, from your heap you need to find out the top element. You can say the 0th element, it will have the smallest value, the smallest id, right? That's the power of heap. But you have to also check if your top is in visited, right? Your top should not be your top should not be unoperational, because when we say that hey op equal to 2, we are just removing it from the visited, we are not updating anything in the heap, right? So we need to ensure that if it is coming at the top, it should also be in visited. If it is in the visited, then you can say result dot append top, and now you can break, right, from this particular while loop. But if it is not in visited, then you can actually pop out that particular element, that particular power station from your heap. So to pop out, you can say heapq, I would say heapq dot heap pop. We need to pop something from the heap, and that's our heap, right? This is our heap from where we need to do the popping. So we need to keep doing the popping till the top element is in visited. But what if all the elements are just popped out, you have no elements left in the heap, then what will happen? You will not break, right? You will not break. Then in that case, you will actually come in the else. This is the power of Python, I would say. If your while loop is not breaking, then else will be executed. Then you can say result dot append -1. Simple. I know it is not, but yeah, this is how you need to solve it, step by step, going through everything. And then I would say just return result. Try to submit this. Let's see if it passes all the test cases. Let's wait. Okay, so it says runtime error, and the reason for this is we are saying visited dot remove. What if your node is already removed or already unoperational? So this remove is going to throw an error if the node doesn't exist. So make use of another method called as discard. Discard will not throw an error if your node is not already in your visited. Now submit this. Let's see what happens now. Let's wait for the answer. Okay, so it is accepted. So I would say this particular logic is not required. I would remove it from the comment, and that's our complete solution for this particular problem. And guys, I know this was not that easy to understand, and even the runtime and memory is pretty fair. It's not that good. So I would say this particular solution has a room of improvement, but this is a good solution because everything is broken in different parts, right? Every step, the code is big, but every step represents a particular thing which we are doing in the problem, right? So I will post this particular solution in the comment of this particular video as well, so you can check the solution there as well. And that's it for this video. If this video has helped you to understand the problem and the solution approach, then make sure that you hit that like button. And if you are not subscribed, then make sure that you subscribe to the channel as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. I want to see you guys in the next one. So thank you for watching this one, and if you have any question, then put it in the comment box. Thank you.